Okay, so we are now recording this, Lewis, just for you. When we're all done, you'll have it probably. Leave it up there for 2 or 3 months, and you can listen as often as you want to.
All right.
Okay, Lewis is our playwright. He's in there with that strange little. It's his email, the beginning of his email. So it's PEDYG is Lewis. Lewis is going to sit and listen, and hopefully, if any of you have any trouble with your character, not so much trouble. If you have a line that is hard to say, and you worked on it and it's still hard to say, make them put a big mark and mark the page so that you can come back and say to Lewis, I'm having trouble with this line. If you have a line that doesn't make any sense for you the way your character is, put a little mark there. And again, turn down the page so you can find it simply. When we're all done with the reading, we'll probably take about a 10 or 15-minute break between acts, probably 10 minutes, unless you don't feel you need to. When we're all done, I'd like to hear what you like. Lewis, I'm sure, would love to hear what you like about his piece.
His pros and cons.
Yes, we'll hear its pros first, honey before vinegar, and then we'll open it up as a forum that if there's something that you saw that jarred. When it comes to your songs, we're obviously not singing. Some of you may know this show so well that you could sing it in your sleep. What I'm concerned about mainly is getting into the song, the lines leading into the song. Do they make sense? So if you're dealing with a song, read the lines going into it. There may be, Colleen, you may find that there are things to read in Act 2, stage direction wise, before the song actually starts. Go ahead and read those. Colleen, who's nodding her head wonderfully over there towards the right, at least in mine, is reading Act 2, stage directions. I'm reading Act 1. I'm also reading Mother Goose. Emily is now reading, is it Jane? Yes, you're reading Jane. Also, because of a snafu with Alice, hopefully everybody has the right version now to read, the one marked 5, 14, 22. And I gave a wrong direction to Drew and who was it? Mary Contrary? Who was it that I said you were singing before and after? It's not you anymore. It's the widow and Gonzorgo and Rodrigo. So
singing before and after?
Yes. So when you get there, or when you have some downtime, before and after is on, let me see if I can find the page real quick. Here's what you need to do. Find before and after. It's in Act 2. It's halfway through maybe. And look at the fact that there are spoken lines between each verse. And it's the widow, Gonzorgo, and Rodrigo. Those are the people singing before and after now. So that's a change from if you were working on the earlier script that I accidentally sent. That's the only real major change.
Just a question, right. Are we reading the text of the songs or we're not?
Just the first verse or the first.
What about the song you just referenced with the
that one we have to read all the lines in between verses. Okay. We don't have to sing. We don't have to sing the choruses. It's the lead-in that I'm concerned about. I want Lewis to be able to hear. Does it flow automatically? Whoever's talking, does it go right into the song, or does it stop? But with before and after, there's so much spoken dialogue in that song between the people reading it. And also think about, and this may be a pro or a con, Songs are misassigned sometimes. Not misassigned, that's a wrong word. Chosen to be used by different people, sung by different people. You know, I do that a lot in my Herbert scripts. So in your mind, as you listen to the whole thing, does this song fit who is assigned to sing it right now? Like, for instance, before and after, should it be the widow and Gonzorgo and Rodrigo? That's kind of an interesting idea. Okay, so does it work? All right, on that note, let us begin. As I said, I'm reading stage directions, Act 1, Act 2. So in Act 1, Colleen, note which ones I read and what I don't read. If it says crowd reaction or anger or something like that, you can show that. Everybody can be the crowd if you want to. Basically, what we're reading is if you're going someplace. Okay? All right. On that note, let us begin. Act 1, Contrary Nary Garden. There is a house at left and an archway at right. Mother Goose enters. Hello, my dears, and welcome to the land of fairy tale and nursery rhymes. I am Mother Goose, your friend and guide throughout this show. Aren't we a happy-looking bunch? Not a gloomy face in sight. Mind you, I'm very pleased with that because here in Storybook Town, we take a dim view of people with miserable faces. In fact, it's even against the law. There's far too much misery and unhappiness in the human world for us to worry about this here too. That's why we decided that anyone caught scowling or sneering shall be banished as penance. Now that we understand each other, there's something I must tell you. Normally, there's nothing to worry about here in Storybook Town, because as fairy godmother to all who live here, I manage to keep a pretty sharp eye on things. However, today looks like being rather unusual. But not to worry, all that will happen has all been planned. The fairy queen has put me in charge to make sure nothing goes wrong. And so, with no further ado, let us have a glimpse of Storybook Town. Oops, I read that wrong. Shall we have a glimpse of Storybook Town? Shall we? Song, country dance. Peasants enter engaged in a dance while Cat plays the fiddle. Uncle Barnaby enters through archway after the dance, bowing and smirking. Peasants snub him.
Now I have nothing to read.
Pardon?
I have nothing to read. What do I
You
read?
don't read. You're not a. It's Barnaby's line.
Okay, then well, but there's nothing up there. I see you. There's no print.
Jan, you said you were going to be on your script.
No, I didn't. Not me.
So you're the only one. All right, just a second. Just a second. You're the only one. Just a second. I have to share my screen. Okay. I missed that. All right, it's up.
Oh.
We are now, this is where we are. We're at country dance. Okay. All right, Barnaby, you're up.
Enjoy yourselves, my dear friends. I'm delighted to see you all happy. Where are my little dears, the Piper children? Are they not here?
Oh, no, Master Barnaby, not one of them has come to the fete.
That's strange. I'm giving it to please them and to make them a little fonder of me.
What, Barnaby?
Barnaby, are you our
Are you
host?
our host?
Yes.
Only yesterday, he seized old Mother Hubbard's house and turned her into the road, all for a debt of a few shillings.
Oh,
Let's finish this afternoon by putting Barnaby under the town pump.
hey!
Crowd starts to take Barnaby away. Tom enters from the house. Hi, Tom, just in time.
E4.
To save me from the pump. Oh, stop him, boy. Don't let them hurt your future brother-in-law.
What, you? Which of my sisters has caught your miserly eye?
Willful, entrancing Mary.
You want to marry contrary Mary? You might as well try to turn off the sun and blow out the stars. But let him go, boys, as a favor to me. We may be relatives yet.
Then there's hope for me with contrary Mary.
Not a gleam. But someday you may be my uncle-in-law.
Not if it's my niece Jane you're in love with. She and her brother Alan, brother Alan are at the bottom of the sea.
I don't believe it.
They'll never come back to their broken-hearted Uncle Barnaby.
And what's their broken-hearted Uncle Barnaby going to do with their fortune?
I'm keeping it for them. This is the law forces me to do that.
Trust you take good care of the money, you skinflint. But you'll be wise if you take better care to keep out of our way hereafter. Now go.
Oh, yeah.
Barnaby exits through the archway. How long were you and Jane sweethearts?
From the day she came as an orphan to her Uncle Barnaby.
Don't despair, Tom. She'll come back to you, my lad.
Or I shall go and find her. Oh, a sailor's my true love, and never a new love will win his heart for me, though beauty's entrancing, alluringly glancing, will woo him o'er the sea.
Okay,
Et cetera, et
that's
cetera.
enough. Then, et cetera, et cetera. We jump to the end of the song. Peasants exit. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter through the archway.
Young man, you know where we can find an old miser named Barnaby?
At yonder manor house. He says his niece and nephew are lost at sea, and I don't believe him.
You need question it no more. I say 'tis true.
And who are you?
I was the captain of that ship, by name Gonzorgo.
Indeed. And who is this sad-eyed gazelle on your right?
A gentleman and my companion to boot.
As a companion to boot, he looks as though he might be useful.
Is that an insult?
Not to you. We were the sole survivors of that wreck.
It was an awful night
We were scudding under the bare poles.
because we just sent the main sheets to the laundry.
Would you let me tell this?
If you did, I doubt it more than ever.
Young man, would you like me to take your measure?
Not if you require a deposit.
What do you think Gonzorgo is?
You talk like a tailor, are you?
Is that a challenge?
I wouldn't dream of challenging you.
Tom, don't be rude to the gentleman.
Madam, is he your little boy?
Yes, my very bad little boy.
Well, because of that, I spare him.
Accept the blessings of a lonely widow.
Have you been lonely long?
2 years.
Have you only yonder stripling to love?
He has 13 sisters and brothers who need a father's care.
14 children? Marry her would be like joining a union.
Mr. Piper left us very well off.
I adore the country, don't you?
Did you ever try to rent a city flat with 14 children?
And when the nestlings have all flown away, hast ever thought of mating once again?
I married once for money. If I wed again, 'twill be for romance. My second husband will be an artist, a poet, or a hero.
14 children, I think you said?
14.
The second husband will be a hero.
Will you not partake of some refreshment?
Certainly.
The three exit into the house. Song, never mind Bo Peep. Bo Peep enters dejectedly right. Tom enters left, goes to her and puts his arm around her.
What is the matter, little Bo Peep?
I have been careless and lost my sheep.
Say, have you seen them, Jack and Jill, during your journey up the hill?
And that's enough of that, and we jump to the end of the song.
Wait,
Okay.
Do
Bo
I
Peep,
jump in
you go
now?
right on.
you skipped,
Okay.
yeah, you skipped most of
I've
that.
missed most of the party because those sheep got away. Like your cows, Blue Boy.
I'll just find out why old Barnaby is paying for this party.
Why?
He wants everyone on hand to hear his engagement announced.
Engagement? To whom?
Contrary Mary.
Oh, Mary hasn't gone and done a dreadful thing like that.
Not yet, but mother's set on the match and is going to announce the wedding anyway.
Oh,
Who's Jill? Do we have a Jill?
Yeah, sorry. Let Barnaby keep his old party. I'm going back to tidy up the stable.
party? He can't buy us with lemonade and chocolate eclairs, can he, girls?
No.
No.
I'd rather go without pumpkin pie forever than be nice to him.
Right you are, Peter. I hope all of you will keep out of trouble till I get back.
Where are you
Where are you
going?
going?
Away this very hour to look for Jane.
Have you told Ma you're going?
In a letter I've left. If she heard of it now, she'd stop me.
Boy Blue? Which way do you go?
I'll start for the road by the forest.
The one I always take to grandmother's?
Do keep out of that awful forest. They say there's a veil in it fitted with spiders.
No spiders for you, eh, Muffet?
Err.
Ah,
We'll go
yeah.
as far as the turn of the road with, or who will go as far as turn of the road with me?
All of us.
Oh,
Tom and children exit right. Jane in a domino mask, and Alan in a red cloak enter, and gypsies enter left.
It was very nice of you gypsies to guide us back home.
Indeed it was.
The widow enters from house.
Hello, here's the widow Piper. I'm not as popular with her.
A gypsy? I'll have my fortune told. Come hither, girl. Are you a real gitana?
I'm a real git. I peek into the future at 2 shillings a peek. I am a rosemary rye, a timorous sprite of the wild wood. I dabble in magic, both comic and tragic, a witch I have been from my childhood.
Okay, that's enough of that. We've jumped to the end of that song. Jane and gypsies exit left.
There, peek for me.
Your name is Piper. Your husband was the Pied Piper. You have a daughter named Mary. She would marry a young man whose name begins with A. He is charming, gifted, attractive. He is all that a young man should be and slightly more. To a lovely character, he adds the ability for business and a brilliant future. To know him is to love him. To meet him is to worship him. Heiresses cry for him.
If you're talking about a wretched, no-account young rat named Alan, you're all wrong.
No, on second thought, his name begins with D. It appears to be Dennis.
Now tell me about myself.
Gonzorgo enters from the house.
I have 2 suitors. Which shall I marry?
I must see them first.
Oh, there is one.
That flamingo a stepfather for Mary? Not while Alan lives.
What do we hear? A gypsy? Bid her marry me, and you shall wear Japanese portieres of jewels.
What do you see, Floretta?
I see a happy home. A beautiful lady is waiting for this handsome gentleman with patience and a rolling pin.
Where's that?
Just where the belt line passes the depot.
Go on, go on.
The children are asleep.
Whose children?
His.
No.
You have a wife and 9 children.
Gonzorgo married?
Yes, to a lady with mispronounced blonde hair.
'Tis false.
Yes, it usually is.
Dost doubt, Gonzorgo?
I dust. You don't know what you've done. You've torn the mask from his face. Farewell, Floretta. May the blessing of a lonely widow follow you through life.
I'd never catch up.
Widow exits into house, followed by Gonzorgo.
Not bad for the fawn of the forest.
Alan exits left, children enter right.
What do you think? Just to discourage old Barnaby, Mary is telling everybody she's engaged.
Is it to Alan?
No, to an imaginary Irishman named Barney O'Flynn.
Oh, here comes Mary. And the song is the entrance of Contrary Mary. Contrary Mary enters left, and everyone sings, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? You've told us in several thousand times. Again, we'd like to know. And then Mary comes in and says,
Is Barney O'Flynn among ye? No? Well, then I have use for none of ye. He's a lad from country Clare, 'tis the wild ones come from there, and be sure 'tis in his coat a rogue you'll see, or the girls he casts a spell. Oh, I know that very well.
okay, and that's enough for that song. And we jump to the end. All except Mary exit after song. Barnaby enters through the archway. Widow enters from the house.
How do you do, Mistress Mary?
How do you do, Mr. Barnaby?
Oh, now, Mary, my dear, Mr. Barnaby has a surprise for you.
Very well, then.
Mary, the bloom is no longer on my cheek. Don't be cruel, Mary. Won't you marry me?
Pardon me. Your cheek is just as blooming as it ever was.
Mary, mind your manners.
You may be treating me this way in the hope that Alan will come back and marry you. Take my word for it, you'll never see him again.
How I wish I could say the same of you.
Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter from house.
Here's proof, the very men in whose tender care I placed my niece and nephew. Now do you believe me?
I'll neither believe you nor marry you.
But Mary, it is my wish.
Not if he were the last man on earth, and a prince imperial besides. Not if I could eat assorted caramels of cut glass trays for the rest of my life. Not if he gave me steam yachts by the fleet and jewelry by the flour barrels. My foot is down. This foot, that foot, the other foot, both feet.
Mary exits into the house.
Mr. Barnaby, I would like to apologize for Mary's insolence.
Madam, I would like to inform you that your financial obligation
You
is...
mean the mortgage?
It's due today.
If you could give me some more time.
I'm sorry, but the law must take its course. Here is your, foreclosure notice. You either lose your house and your children, or have Mary return the notice along with her consent. By Mary's hand, for Mary's hand. It's up to you. Good day.
Widow exits into the house.
Well, you ready to settle up with your silent partners?
I don't understand you.
He's getting deaf. He doesn't understand. Our contract to get rid of your niece and nephew.
What have you done?
Jane and Alan are now sleeping with the Earthlers.
I've seen the last of my little charges.
Yeah, now you'll see the first of ours.
Our little charges for getting rid of your little charges.
Clearly, you don't want to be paid in money.
We don't?
Come back within the hour, and I'll bring you a few hundred shares of gilt-edged stock from my strong box.
Gonzorgo and Rodrigo exit through archway. Jane and Alan enter from left.
Uncle Barnaby. Ah! Oh, we're glad to see you. We want our money.
Ghosts! They can't be alive! Ghosts! Take them away!
The three exit right. Jane and Alan pursuing Barnaby. Scene 2, the garden wall. The wall is practical and solidly built. A heavy vine is attached to the front of it, so arranged that it may be employed as a ladder. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter right.
Was that the widow Piper who slammed the door in our faces?
Thanks to that gypsy female, it was.
I could have went up and slapped her.
Barnaby enters left.
Have you brought our pay?
You haven't earned it yet. Jane and Alan have returned.
Alive?
Alive?
Painfully so. They think it was all an accident. While they still trust us, we must try again to remove them.
How?
I've told them I bought a new country house while they were away, and you two must take them there tonight. But the road to it leads through the spider forest. Business detains me in the village. In the depths of the forest, you will accidentally lose the children.
It's a deadly place. I've heard of it.
Alive with dangers, small chance the children will ever come out of it.
But will we?
Mark your path well, and when the time is ripe, turn back upon it.
And the terms?
Same as before, part payable in this highly desirable stock. I put every penny of the children's money into it.
Its name?
The Ida Heapa Buckwheater Company.
What's the Ida Peepa Bucka Whoop Cup we be?
A patent health food. It's made of Excelsior, it tastes like sawdust, and it looks like buckwheat.
Delicious.
Mixed with modified milk and not quite butter, it's a meal fit for a horse. Go find the children, then give your answer.
Trio exits left. Come on, the lawn is empty. Bo Peep looks over the wall.
Hurry up, Mary. Here's your chance.
Mary looks over the wall.
Ma won't miss me for an hour or two.
Goldilocks looks over the wall. Ooh, we don't have a Goldilocks. Do you know where you're going?
Away, that's all. As far away from old Barnaby as I can get.
Mary climbs down the wall, assisted by the vine, Boy Blue, and Bo Peep. Red Riding Hood looks over the wall.
Careful, slowly. There you are.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, goodbye.
Bye.
Mary exits left.
Tom and Mary gone in one day. Mother will be pleased.
There she is, coming in the front way.
You're not a word.
Jane and Ellen enter right.
Jane? Alan, is that you?
Hello. We're to meet Uncle Barnaby here, and two of his farm hands will take us to his new house.
Have you seen Tom?
He's gone off to find you.
He's a man without a country. I wish I'd seen Tom before he went away.
Oh, he'll soon come back.
Perhaps, and maybe.
Alan exits left.
Where are the other children?
Doing their studies. I just despise it. Why, I'd rather get married than go to school.
Where are you all now?
Oh, still in the primary. It's the nasty arithmetic that's keeping us back. Look, at these sums we got for today.
Oh, these are easy.
Come on, boys and girls. Jane is going to do our sums for us.
All the remaining Piper children, except for Tom and Mary, sit on the wall with Boy Blue, Bo Peep, Goldilocks, Red Riding Hood, and Simon.
If a steamship weighed 10,000 tons and sailed 5,000 miles with a cargo large of overshoes and carving knives and files, if the mates were almost 6 feet high and the bosun near the same, would you subtract or multiply to find the captain's name?
Okay, we go to the end of the song. Bo Peep and Boy Blue exit into the house. Alan enters left with Gonzorgo and Rodrigo.
Now, Jane, we're going to Uncle Barnaby's new home.
Where is it?
A little journey, and these fellows are to take us.
We'll see you safely there.
We're ready.
Come along then.
They exit through the archway. Scene 2, the spider forest. There are toadstools, trees, spider webs, and a den at left. The melodramatic music. Brown Bear appears from den, yawning and rubbing his eyes. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter right, stealthily and frightened. But Bear sees them. They see him. The three fent and shift about until Gonzorgo and Rodrigo break into open flight, pursued by the bear. Jane is heard crying. She enters right. limping and supported by Alan.
Oh, don't cry, Jane.
Our guides are lost and we're lost. Alan, I can't go any further on this sprained ankle.
Oh, then we'll rest a while.
He leads her to the mouth of the bear's den.
I'm too frightened.
Go to sleep, dear. I am by your side.
See that shadow sway?
That is nothing, dear.
You must near me stay.
I am watching here.
Hark, the fairies call.
No, that cannot be.
See that ogre tall?
Okay, we'll stop there. The queen comes in. This is the only place the queen arrives, and all she does is sing. In the end, Jane and Alan fall asleep. Song, Act 1 finale. The giant spider enters left, casting his web about the children. Bear enters right. A fight ensues. Bear attacks spider, who crawls off left wounded. Bear cuts and tears away the web about the children. Queen goes to the bear, accolading him with her scepter. Bear exits left. Fairies enter and engaged in a ballet. And we have come to the end of Act 1.
Miss Mott, do you all mind if I pause this for a moment? My dinner is here.
Oh, sure. No, we're going to take, let's take, what do you want to do, folks? Let's take 10, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Be right back.
So, Louis, you go get your dinner.
Who's playing the giant spider?
The giant spider. And who's playing the bear? The bear.
Oh, you got a real one. Very good. Very good.
Yes, yes. We have real in those things. And who's playing the queen fairy? The queen fairy.
Who isn't? Right.
Oh dear.
Drew, where are you, by the way? Are you on the left coast?
I am on the left coast, yeah.
What?
That's where I've been for the last 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
One of the many reasons I haven't seen you.
Yeah, that'll do it.
and we're hoping we've got all of our fingers and toes crossed that you will come back someday.
I'll come back when I have enough money to have a place with a garden, which is not anytime soon.
Boy, I hate to say it, but you better come back with your pockets lined with gold.
I know.
My goodness, you know.
That's the truth.
Boy, it's silliness. And depending on if everybody is still with us when Louis gets his dinner, are you guys ready to go on, or do you want to wait a while? Did anybody disappear? Like
I'm
hot
ready.
breaks?
All right, I'm back.
You're back. Okay. Is everybody else back?
I want to put my headphones on, but that's all right. So. you can-
Okay. Jan, are you? Let me just kind of run down everybody. Jan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. How about Colleen?
I'm here.
Virginia?
Yep.
Haley?
Yep.
And Emily? Emily, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, Sue?
Yep, I'm here.
Is that all the women? And Drew?
Here.
And Richard?
Here.
And let's see, Keith?
Here.
And John Nelson?
Here.
And David? David Cedar. David Cedar, where did you go? He took me at my word, right? David Cedar is who? He's Marmaduke.
Yeah.
He's back.
Oh, are you back, David?
I'm here.
Is that everybody? Have I missed anybody? I think we're back.
That was the world's shortest 10 minutes.
I know, I know. Now, do you want to still wait? Or are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, all right, let's go. So Colleen, you get to do the honors and stage directions.
Yeah, the script I have is not the 514 one, so I'm going to read from your script.
Oh, that's fine.
Act 2, Scene 1, Toyland's Town Square. There is a Christmas tree at right and an archway at left. Mother Goose enters.
As you can see, Jane and Alan are in a terrible predicament. Their miserly Uncle Barnaby wants to kill them for their inheritance. Will Jane and Alan find their way out of this pickle? Well, let's tune in and find out.
Hail to Christmas, joyous Christmas.
Christmas and be gay.
Yay, the day breaks.
Draws near. Now, Chris Kringle, dear Chris Kringle, will bring our king to be. And that song goes on and on and on.
To appeal to the Christmas crowd. Yes.
Yes, appeal to the Christmas card. Okay, and Colleen, you're back.
Chorus exits after song. Barnaby and widow enter through archway.
Mary's in Toyland, be sure of that, and will not go home again until we find her. Hello.
Widow.
Did we
Widow?
lose you, Sue?
Sorry, hang on. Okay.
A fine
What?
dance.
A fine dance. She's led us for 3 weeks.
A love case for me.
Never mind. We'll make her Mrs. Barnaby yet.
With the aid of Inspector Marmaduke, the leading detective of Toyland.
Inspector Marmaduke enters through archway.
You have sent for Marmaduke, and he is here.
Can you find Contrary Mary?
You have sent for me because you cannot find her yourself.
He's a regular mind reader.
Do you think you can run her down?
A well-bred detective never runs a lady down.
Mary was the apple of my eye. She has lips like cherries and cheeks like peaches.
Wanted, female with face like a fruit salad. Would you like her to take her dead or alive?
Alive for choice. She's to be my wife, you know.
That is her mother's wish.
Must she marry you?
She must.
And does she know it?
She does.
Well, begin with looking in the river.
Exits through archway with widow and Barnaby. Tom and Mary enter right and left.
I've got splendid news, Mary. I'm employed as Toyland's town crier.
I've been employed as dressmaker at the Master Toymaker's Workshop under the name of Mademoiselle Elisette.
Well, we better get to work.
I'll see you tonight.
They exit right and left. Marmaduke enters through archway.
Somebody has moved the river. 2 long minutes have passed, and still I have not found Contrary Mary.
Jane and Alan enter through archway.
Strangers, where did you come from?
We know where we came from, but we don't know where we've got to. We were lost in a forest at our home, and after many adventures, reached a strange seacoast. A passing vessel brought us here, and we don't care how soon another takes us away.
This is Toyland.
Toyland? Were you made in Germany or Connecticut?
I'm not a dummy. I'm a detective.
What's the difference?
Do you know Contrary Mary? I am looking for her. Tell me what she wore the last time you saw her.
A blue and white polka dot dress.
Ah, a clue.
No, you'll be sure to find her now.
Why?
A polka dot dress is always spotted.
Ah,
Marmaduke exits. Chorus begins to enter.
Who's first girl?
That might be me. Oh dear, what funny looking things the parade has brought to town.
Jane, the neighbors are talking about us.
I wonder where they wear clothes like that.
What perfect frights. They must have fallen out of the moon.
Tell us what you do for a living in the place you come from.
First, I want to find out something about the place I'm in.
Jane exits left.
and what are you?
So I'm nothing yet, but when I grow up, I'm going to be a songwriter.
Have you ever composed anything?
Yes, a popular song. It's called She's to Be Scolded, but Not Harshly Ordered Out of Her Apartment. Does it appeal to you?
Perhaps they play it here.
Perhaps I wouldn't know it if I heard it here. Let me explain what I mean. Now, once upon a time, a poet wrote a song about a baby in a tree, where up in the branches high, a tender lullaby was warbled by the breezes blowing free.
And we go on for two or three more verses.
Oh,
This is called The Song of the Poet. And when we come to the end on 31, we have some stage
They
directions.
do right and left, laughter and chatter from children off stage. They enter playfully pulling toy maker after them. Each child drags or carries a toy.
There, there. You have me quite out of breath, my dears. I must rest a moment.
He sits down on a bench.
When we find mother, she'll pay you for these lovely playthings.
There's nothing to pay. I give them to you.
Is there a Jill? Oh, you can't afford that.
Afford it. I'm the world's master toy maker. I set the fashions in playthings, and I've enough toys stored away to make every child alive happy.
Oh, perhaps mother wouldn't like it.
Keep these trifles to help you remember me. For a little remembrance in the heart of a child is more to me than anything else in the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Haven't you any children of your own?
No, that's why I'm free to love all children and to try and make them love me too.
Do you make toys that talk?
Oh, I walk and talk and do everything but think. I can give them everything but a soul. And someday I may even give them that.
I've seen such wonderful playthings here.
They make everything in this country?
Well, that's the only trade in Toyland.
My, but we'll be dreadfully sorry to leave it.
It's a land you will never forget, a land of which you'll often dream in the years to come.
Children group around toy maker as he sings. Some sitting, some standing, some lying at length on the floor.
When you've grown up, my dears, and are as old as I, you'll often ponder on the years that roll so swiftly by, my dears, that roll so swiftly by. And of the many lands you will have journeyed through, you'll oft recall the best of all, the land your childhood knew. Your
Okay,
childhood
that's
knew.
enough. That's enough of Toyland. And we go on with the toy.
But I must go. I have work to do. Come to my workshop and take your choice of the toys there.
Children exit left. Barnaby enters right.
You're the king of all the toy makers, I've heard. I'd like to hire you to make a few toys for me.
Ah, then you love the children too.
Oh, I simply dote on them.
What would you like me to make for them?
A lot of dangerous toys. Toys that a child would eagerly accept, that would cripple them and even kill them in some clever way.
Why do you hate the children so bitterly?
My late sister left me hers to look after. Oh, two little fiends, a boy and a girl named Alan and Jane. Vicious, bad-tempered, what a life they have led me. Even their great fortune, which by law will be mine in a week, will hardly repay me for the trouble they have caused me.
Are they dead?
Yes, lost in the forest in my country long ago. I've seen the last of them, thank heaven.
Jane exits through archway silently.
£200 if you'll take the order. 300? 500?
No, no.
800.
£800 for toys that wound and maim? None shall convince me if I've heard that correctly.
Exits through archway.
Clever old fox. He wants more money. I'll see him alone at his workshop and close the bargain before I leave it.
Exits left. Jane and Alan enter through archway. Much excited.
And if we're not home in a week, Uncle Barnaby gets our fortune?
Yes, that's what I heard him say.
Oh, now I understand Uncle Barnaby. I know him. He's as easy to see through as a peekaboo shirtwaist.
I'm sure he had us lost in the woods.
And lost at sea the same way. He's been playing a losing game with us every way.
We must get home. We haven't a penny. What's to be done?
Or who's to be done?
First, let us change these clothes. Nobody else in Toyland dresses like this, and Uncle Barnaby will surely hear about us.
That's a risk we can't afford. We must shift our wardrobe, but how?
Mary enters right.
Can it be? Alan! Jane!
Mary!
My brevet bride.
And a runaway just like you two.
I hope you've run away with the tailor.
Or a dressmaker.
Neither. I've just been engaged to dress dolls at the master toy maker's workshop.
Do you think you could find anything there that would fit us? We don't want to be captured.
Perhaps some of the toy maker's dolls are nearly as big as you.
Grumio enters right.
I'll be put in jail for this.
What's the matter, Grumio?
Who is he?
I'm the head apprentice to the master toy maker.
What seems to be the trouble?
I've busted the captain of the wooden soldiers while preparing the automatons. I wound up the captain too tight, and now the parade is spoiled.
If you hand me the captain's clothes, I'll lead the parade and the toy maker will be none the wiser.
Brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of it? Go make you ready. The parade's about to begin.
Come on, we're off.
Jane, Alan, and Mary through archway. Toymaker and Santa Claus enter right. Grumio bows to Santa.
Well, Master Toymaker, how's my order coming along?
Everything is in fine shape.
Splendid.
Wait till you see the automatons I've made for you. The finest piece of work we have ever turned out.
Splendid.
Grumio, go and bring them in.
Yes, master. I'll have them right out, Mr. Santee.
Grumio exits through archway.
You'll get the surprise of your life.
Dolls enter led by Jane, dressed as a Dutch doll, and Alan dressed as a wooden soldier. They engage in a march. Dolls engage in a quadrille, exit afterwards. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter right.
Tis a cold world, Gonzargo. We can't get on the force. If something turns up, I shall worry myself into a stew.
Worry yourself into 2 stews if possible. One for me.
I'm not well, Zordy. I'm a sick man. I've got more complaints than a gas company.
Well, don't despair yet. By all that's wonderful, here comes the Widow Piper.
Widow enters left.
Have you seen anything of a young lady who answers to the name of Mary?
Infatuated girl. Why have you followed me here?
Oh, Master Barnaby's friends.
Fate has mixed us up again.
Have you forgotten what Floretta told me? You are married.
'Tis false. You are the only girl I ever loved. Don't seek further for a husband. I'm a regular bargain now.
You do look a little marked down.
Yes, well, since I saw you, I've been reduced to 99 cents.
And you have suffered?
For weeks, we have slept upon the hard ground and rocks and stones.
Made me homesick.
Homesick?
I had a sister who filled our home full of cozy corners. The harder the rocks, the more it seemed like home.
I'm sorry for both of you.
You could make one of us very happy.
A golden mist will one day become a silver blizzard. Before marriage, it's one thing. After marriage, another. Trust me, I know.
Before they were married, they talked like this. Will lovey's own lovey give dovey a kiss? Will Oni's own oniest be ever true? And ooze little oozly oozazoo. Pardon the laughter. That was before, but this is after. How dare you order 14 dresses and 22 shirtwaists without consulting me?
Because I have to wear them. You don't.
Yes, but I have to pay for them, don't I?
No, you don't. I haven't asked you for a single cent all year. I have had everything charged. No wise man will disparage marriage, yet still it is exceeding strange that when you marry, unless you're wary, you both will find a dreadful change.
Before they were married, when out they went, a coop or ransom or hack he'd rent. My dearest, he told her, my heart's own queen, you ne'er in a trolley car shall be seen.
Pardon the laughter. That was before, but this is after.
How many times have I asked you not to read the newspaper at the breakfast table?
I didn't read the newspaper. I would have to look at you if I didn't read the
You
newspaper.
never dared speak to me like that before we were married.
Well,
We were married. You never came down to breakfast with your hair looking like withered pretzels.
Mother always said you were a brute. Oh, why did I ever marry you?
That's what I've been trying to find out ever since. No
wise man
will
will.
disparage marriage. Yet
No.
still it is exceeding strange that when you
know,
marry,
That's enough. I think we've come to the end of the song.
Widow
Yeah,
exits right.
Zorgi, your language has parted us. She is lost to me forever.
Forgive me.
Never. You have robbed me of a mother's care.
Marmaduke enters left.
Stay, fair sir. Are you Inspector Marmaduke of Toyland's police department?
I am.
I would fill a vacancy. 2 vacancies. I haven't eaten for a week.
To join the force.
As soon as possible.
Find a girl named Contrary Mary, and you will never have to work again.
Will you make detectives of us?
Where are you staying?
We've engaged a suite of benches in the park. You can write us there. Care of the Dicky Birds.
And Zorgo and Rodrigo exit left. Mary, with a small box, enters right.
Madam, do you know a girl named Mary?
Yes, I have.
Describe her to me.
She has decided mezzo-soprano hair with a wavy brunette voice and the prettiest pair of shell pink eyes you ever saw.
Her complexion?
Well, that depends. A woman's complexion isn't always what it seems to be on the face.
How was she dressed when you saw her last?
The dress is in the blue nun's veiling with a skirt laid in tiny tucks. The deep flounce has strappings of blue foulard with embroidered polka dots, and three clusters of this polka dotted foulard are on the flounces in 3, 5, and 6 rows. The belt is of nun's veiling, unlined with 4-inch bones, front and back, and 2 rows of polka dotted foulard to finish it.
I could have stood for the waist, but the skirt was too much for me. Who are you and what are you doing here?
I'm a poor working girl, a journalist for a magazine.
Then you must be Beatrice Fairfax.
I am Beatrice Fairfax.
Dear me, there are so many things I'm dying to ask you.
Oh, I can't answer you now. I've got all these letters to attend to first.
From all sorts of people, I suppose.
Here's a sample. Dear Beatrice Fairfax, a country girl am I. Next month I'm going down to town, so tell me how to make a gown of scraps I've put by. I've carefully...
Okay, that's fine. That's enough on that. And Beatrice Fairfax goes on, and we get to the end of the song.
Exit right and left. Scene 3, the master toymaker's workshop. There is a fireplace at center, a cabinet at right, and a table at left. Song, the toymaker's shop. Workmen are discovered. Tom enters with large sealed document. Toymaker enters.
Well, my little man, what can I do for you? Looking for a pretty toy?
An order from old King Cole to the master toymaker.
Yes. Tell the king I'll be on hand at the appointed time. Now run along, little boy.
Exit right and left. Mary, Jane, and Alan enter right.
Here, I'll hide you in the master toymaker's workshop.
I don't like this place. It looks spookylarious.
Someone's coming.
Jane and Alan assume toy attitude as toymaker enters.
Getting that toy ready for shipment.
Yes, sir.
Alan moves his hand automatically.
Something wrong with his machinery. I noticed it in the parade today. I'll attend to that before he goes to Siberia.
He doesn't go to Siberia. He's billed to,
I've 2 orders that must be filled. Send wooden captain to His Majesty the Sultan of Morocco. It's to be a surprise for the Sultan's harem.
Pardon me, sir, but aren't you getting them mixed?
Oh, so I am. It's the Dutch doll that goes to the Sultan.
The wooden captain is broken.
Oh, there's time to fix him. He goes by caravan tomorrow. He's bound for the nursery of Prince Popov in Kalamazoo Speed, Eastern Siberia.
But he can't be fixed inside of a week, and the Dutch doll isn't all right either.
What's the matter with her?
She needs a new face. You can't send those wax faces to hot countries. They melt. She ought to have a wooden head.
Oh, I'll take care of that. Take the risk of sending the Dutch doll to Morocco. I'll make sure she's carefully wrapped up. And as for the wooden captain, within an hour, my workman shall have his work spread upon the table.
Toymaker goes to table.
Come on, let's make a run for it.
Jane, Mary, and Alan exit left. Grumio enters, followed by two men. One carries a wine cask, and the other bears a dinner service.
Your supper master and a cask of wine sent you by, by an old gentleman named Barnaby.
Oh, put them down anywhere. I'm in the mood for neither.
Exits left. Men place articles and exit. Grumio looks at the wine cask, takes it, and drinks. He becomes slightly intoxicated. Ragdoll enters. Grumio offers her wine and pantomime. Song Gavant. Ragdoll and Grumio do their specialty dance, drinking, dancing, and upsetting chairs, tables, etc. in the process. They exit after the dance. Toymaker's voice heard.
Grumio, I say.
Toymaker enters left with workmen. Toymaker observes the room.
What's this? Men, clear away this ruin. That scamp has been at the wine.
Workmen exit after cleaning up. Barnaby enters right.
Here I am, according to appointment. Have you thought over my offer?
For toys that will maim and injure children?
Something tells me you would put your whole heart into the work.
Your literality would call for that much interest.
Your final answer?
Perhaps I can do more than you ask. What would you say to a toy with the soul of the demon, showing no hint of its presence? Would it not be a dainty gift one would dislike?
To be plain with you, you hate the children even more than I.
But I teach them to love me and trust me, so they'll accept from me the playthings as I just described.
Barnaby and Toymaker laugh.
A master thought indeed.
I'll come back at twilight. In the interval, I'll experiment again.
Success to you.
I feel it shall be mine.
Barnaby exits right. Alan enters left. Toymaker takes out a crystal flask from cabinet and places it on the table.
That has nothing to do with toys or toy making for sure. Whatever it is, I'm bound to find out.
Another trial, another effort to make the charm complete. The charm that will give me dominion over the souls of evil. One more to seek the missing element.
Song, the incantation and revolt of the toys. Toymaker waves his fingers towards his flask.
The light of the underworld. What can it be? At last, success? I triumph. You hear? You answer. Come forth. Spirits of evil, I bid you enter the forms I have fashioned in human shape. They move. No. Is that the light that closed my senses? Ah, it is true. True at last. I have found the spell at last. They turn to me, their master, their creator. Fiends, all of them. Slaves, all of them. To me. Speak. You live, hating and unrepentant.
Undo your work before it's too late.
Here's gratitude. I give you human forms, take you from the gloom and torments of the underworld, and you reproach me?
Take care. These things only have murder in their hearts. You are alone.
Doll assumes threatening attitude.
I do not fear them.
Look there.
Alan points to Doll, who approaches Toymaker with knife.
Ah,
Doll retreats, a murmur of defiance from the others. Toymaker shows terror.
let me pass. Stand aside, you hear me? Obey, or else I'll send your souls back to the abyss from which I brought them.
You're lost. You've destroyed yourself. You gave them life to hate and slay and kill, and they are ready to fulfill their purpose, and you will be their first victim.
No.
Your commands are in vain, and you know it. They are mortal now, the same as you and me.
Dolls approach Toymaker.
Stop, I say!
Dolls kill Toymaker and run off left. Alan, left with Toymaker, tries to revive him. Barnaby and Marmaduke enter right. Barnaby accuses Alan of killing Toymaker. He summons Gonzago and Rodrigo. They carry Alan off right at a signal from Barnaby. Left alone, Barnaby shows his delight at his successive schemes against Alan. Dolls appear left, armed with clubs, broomsticks, etc., and they fall upon Barnaby and give him a sound beating. He howls for mercy. Scene 4, Toyland's Place of Justice. There is a courthouse at right. Song, Hang March. Tom, children, widow, Marmaduke, and chorus enter left.
Oyez, oyez! If one Master Alan be among ye, he is for the last time commanded to appear before old King Cole to say why he should not be condemned to die.
What has Master Alan done?
He is said to have slain the Master Toymaker.
Was he alone guilty?
Many believe the Toymaker was killed by a band of strangers, beings who were seen rushing from his shop. The police can find no trace of him. After his arrest, Master Alan escaped.
Chorus, widow, and Marmaduke exit into courthouse. Tom joins children who remain on.
Oh, Tom, how did Alan get himself into such a scrape?
I don't know, but it's very serious.
Can we do nothing to help him?
Help him in his flight, if you meet him.
Tom,
Jane, where in the world have you been?
all over the world looking for you.
And I've been doing the same. What a lucky day.
For us, but not for Alan.
Poor fellow, he is in trouble. Any news of him?
None. Contrary Mary is with him and they're trying to get out of Toyland together.
Without passports, that will be hard to do.
Who accuses Alan of the Toymaker's death?
Only your Uncle Barnaby.
The wicked old man. He's taken our money, now he wants our lives.
The Toymaker was old King Cole's favorite subject. He is ordered to convict Alan without a hearing. But I must go, the court is in session. You go into the courthouse and await me there.
I'll count the minutes till I'm with you. Am I glad I have you again?
Oh, we'll live in a castle in Spain on the side of a hill by Granada, and then you'll be a haughty grandee, and I'll be your humble espada.
Okay, that's enough of that one. We jump to the end of that song.
Tom and Jane exit into courthouse. Alan and Mary enter left.
So far, so good. Nobody recognized us.
Now for the last obstacle, the passports.
Barnaby enters from courthouse unseen and recognizes Mary and Alan.
If we get safely out of Toyland, where should we go?
Barnaby
home.
exits the courthouse unseen.
To our old home first, then we'll go abroad.
Where?
To a far country that Jane and I visited after our shipwreck.
Exit left Barnaby, enter from courthouse.
Come back to your loving uncle, will you? You're going to find that difficult.
Mary
Oh.
enters left.
Oh, it's you, isn't it?
I'll be short and sweet with you, Mistress Mary. There's a marriage bureau next door to the courtroom, and we'll be married at once. Or
What?
I'll hand Alan over. In a moment, the court will condemn him for killing the Toymaker.
You wouldn't betray him.
It's my duty. He has disgraced the family. He's an assassin, but for your sweet sake, I'll let him escape.
Gonzago and Rodrigo enter from courthouse.
What have you there?
A warrant to execute Alan, your scamp of a nephew.
You shall decide. Will you take his life or my name?
Right then. Take me to the marriage bureau.
Mary and Barnaby exit right. Jane and children enter from courthouse.
Why, when did you two start out as plumbers?
We are not plumbers, we're executioners. We know nothing about the business. It was influence, not our ability, that got us the job.
However, we are willing to learn. And after we have practiced on 3 or 4 condemned people, we will get the hang of it.
Has the court sent for you?
It has. We will shortly fill our first order.
Well then, listen to the wails of several other indiscreet people who, like yourself, did not know enough to come in out of the rain. There's an apple growing on the tree just over Jones's wall. 'Tis the envy and the heart's desire of every boy that's small. It's as green as grass and sour as sin, but Billy Smith don't care. And every time you pass that spot, you'll find that youngster there.
Okay, and we jump to the end of this song, which is sung by Jane, Rodrigo, Barnaby, and we come to the end of the song.
Gonzago and Rodrigo exit left. Chorus, Alan, Tom, Widow, and Marmaduke enter from courthouse.
Oyez! Oyez! Old King Cole finds the outlaw Alan guilty of the master toymaker's death and orders that he be executed in the manner prescribed by law when found.
I'll do my duty as a good citizen and a relative as well. There is the criminal.
Who is this villain?
Your unhappy uncle. Take him. He has disgraced me enough. Let the sentence be carried out.
Wait, I have not finished. He shall be executed in the manner prescribed by law when found, unless he take advantage of the law which gives every condemned man the right to plead the benefit of widow.
The benefit of widow?
An ancient law of Toyland meant to assist a deserving class of subjects.
What is the benefit of widow?
Any widow with or without a large family may claim a condemned man for her second husband, and he shall be free as long as he supports said widow and saves her from becoming a charge upon the state.
And may the victim choose the widow with or without the large family?
Some have preferred the gallows.
They must have been married before.
Do you claim the benefit?
No, I'll die rather than marry anybody but contrary Mary.
If you mean Mrs. Barnaby, oh, is there a direction there? No, I'm sorry. If you mean Mrs. Barnaby, you're too late.
You? Mrs. Barnaby?
Alan, he recognized you, but swore to let you escape if I married him at once.
I'll plead that benefit. I marry and live.
Courage! Somebody will surely choose you.
This is undignified. I feel like the prize grab bag at a party.
Don't despair, Alan. Some widow will surely find you worth taking.
You needn't speak of him as though he were a marked down remnant.
To think that we were parted forever.
Not forever. The joyful day may soon arrive when they'll expect me to wear crepe for that.
Then here's where I give up smoking and go in for physical culture. As soon as I've engaged places on the coach, my dear, we'll depart on our honeymoon.
All except Tom and Alan exit. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter left.
Remember, the sentence will be carried out if a widow does not choose you in 15 minutes.
Shall we proceed?
Wait till I return.
Exit's right.
I wonder if he'll help us.
I
We're in a very embarrassing situation.
And only you can save us from becoming ridiculous. When we start to execute you, everybody is liable to laugh at us.
I sure won't.
If they find out we're not regular executioners, we'll lose the job.
How can I help you?
Since you have to leave this cold, hard world, will you allow us to send you our way?
I'll go your way.
Wise boy. Now, what would you like in the way of a farewell luncheon? It'll be your last. Have anything you like.
I can't think of anything but angel cake and a glass of wine.
With a dash of poison in it,
4 drops of that in your wine,
just before you start for the scaffold.
and you'll go into a dreamless sleep.
And when I wake up, I'll be where the angel cake comes from.
Perhaps, but in any case, you won't be here.
Then go ahead and put it in the wine. When the banquet is ready, serve it out here.
Gonzorgo and Rodrigo exit left. Ensemble enters right and left, except for Barnaby. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo enter left with a small table with a glass of wine on it.
Are you still alive, Alan?
Yes, but not for long.
Old King Cole is seen on a throne.
Whereas Master Allen has been found guilty of murder, he shall be sent to the gallows where he'll be hung by the neck until he is dead. So mote it be.
Your Majesty, I implore you, a drop of your grace before I go to...
It is with deep regret that I just enforce the law of the realm. Proceed with the execution.
Barnaby enters right.
Now, Mary, my dear, what's this?
The end of your nephew.
Ooh, too bad, too bad. I'm very sorry.
All turn away from him.
It was my duty. I had to do it. I really had to. Such treatment is hard to bear without help. At such a time as this, I need encouragement. Farewell, nephew. Oh, oh.
All turn to him. He falls into the arms of Gonzorgo and Rodrigo, who carry him off left. Tom follows.
He has drunk the wine that was intended for me.
Tom enters
Mrs.
left.
Barnaby, you're a widow. You're a widow.
A widow?
Excessive grief has taken Miser Barnaby from us.
If I'm a widow, then by law, I can claim Alan as my husband.
Mary.
I guess the old proverb is true. Wait till the evening. Maybe the moon will help you out. When the man, stupid man, is timid and shy, and the days and the weeks and the years roll by, with the man, stupid man, a victim of fear, who will not speak the words you are longing to hear.
And we go to the end of the song and we take our leave since the play is over. All will indeed end well if you tell us you're happy with our performance. We'll do whatever we can to please you day after day. Now we'll patiently listen while you perform for us. Give us your hands and applause and we'll love you for it. End of the And let me stop screen sharing. Clap, 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 clap. Bravo, Louis. We lived through your entire script. All right.
Elizabeth.
Congratulations, folks. Everybody did a really fine job. I appreciate it all. Let's talk first. Let's take about a couple of minutes just to think. What do you like best about this script? Anybody have any thoughts?
I like how dark it is.
Yeah,
do.
it's the original. It's the original story
Yeah.
Well, yes.
where the toy maker is evil.
Yeah.
I like
Now,
it.
True.
Louis, you just listen, okay?
Okay.
Remember,
Sorry.
I know it's hard, but you're just getting the feedback now.
The number of
Oh,
characters.
darkness. Everybody like the darkness?
Certainly.
Surprised by it.
I really enjoyed the darkness. What startled me is how quickly the toy maker shifted. Once he had shifted, I enjoyed that demons come out, but something felt off to me.
I think that's inherited actually from the original
Really? Okay.
script, because
Yeah.
I read the original script and it's like that. I was going to say it does seem it always seems abrupt, because the same man who sings Toyland, that sings the title song of the basically of the show,
Right.
who
Right.
seems to be the most lovable person, all of a sudden it becomes this horror, really more of a villain than Barnaby, who you think is the villain up until that point.
Right.
So that would be only my slight suggestion, would be like maybe 2 or 3 lines maybe dropped in earlier on that would give a hint that this is a facade that we're seeing.
I mean, I actually thought about Iago in Othello because he is so charming. And then he has certain lines where it's crystal clear. They can just be 3 lines. This man is the demon himself, totally out for himself. And then just what you were saying, those few lines of indication, and then you see the horror who he is.
Meanwhile, I don't, and I don't think you're saying it either. I don't mean to accuse you of that. That is the way it is in the show. It's always been a peculiar transition. And I mean, I won't say in every production ever done, but certainly looking at the original script, it was an uncomfortable transition. And I don't know whether anything can be done to it, but that would be my suggestion. So.
Okay.
That's always an interesting question, folks. How married does anyone need to be to the original script, particularly if the original script had a problem that felt awkward? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I mean, you don't have to be.
It's an interesting thing, because surely this show was written with kids in mind originally, and it's I don't quite understand how they got away with it.
Kids love being scared.
With the dark elements of it.
Yeah,
First of all, David, just a second, folks. First of all, it wasn't written. It was written for Broadway.
Yeah, I know.
You did not, in 1903, you did not take your kids to Broadway.
Oh, I guess that's.
So it was written for adults. But it really wasn't written for kids.
The Chicago paper on the tryout, the Chicago performance happened before Broadway. The newspaper critics said, "We hardly think that this is suitable entertainment for children."
Right.
Unquote. So.
And yet it's funny, because nowadays, and one thing I think you avoided this trap very well, Louis, and that is that it's got a reputation for being a very saccharine show. Oh, little characters and fairy tale characters, and you've kept in quite a lot of the bite in it, and that I think that's very good. So then it would be up to you, or you and the director, to decide whether you wanted to make a little bit more of a transition with the toy maker, give him some uglier lines, maybe even just asides to himself or something like that. But that's up to you. That's not me saying you did this wrong. That's the way it is in the show, in the original show.
All right.
Anybody else have some comments about what you liked?
I loved the cheeky lines that were just thrown in there to like kind of cut the darkness a little bit. I was giggling at those every time I read through it. So I appreciated those little nuggets being thrown in there.
Marmaduke and a face like a fruit salad.
That's a good line.
Is that a great line?
Good line.
I
That was a good one.
love Marmaduke. Loved it.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Did you run across any pages, corners that you turned down where you felt something wasn't quite right?
I did. Couple of things. The Jane, Jane, Jane song, it struck me that is supposed to be sung by Jane.
And it was.
Okay. In other words, you weren't sure who should be singing that song.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the show. I mean, I saw the movie when I was a kid, and I know that it's not an accurate representation, but Tom says, or I shall go and find her. And then the first line of the song is, oh, a sailor is my true love, and never a new love will win his heart from me. So to me, that is being sung by the in this case, female, about her sailor boyfriend. And then, yeah, to this answer, he will repeat Jane, Jane, Jane. So she's Jane, and I don't think it works giving it to Tom.
Okay. all right.
Okay.
Anybody else?
And
Yeah,
I also had one other thing
Oh,
about
I'm
the
sorry.
widow. I'm sorry, excuse me. I just had one other thing about the widow on page 11. She says, I have two suitors. To me, it wasn't clear who the two suitors were. I mean, I know Gonzorgo was, but I had to kind of look back and go, was Rodrigo one of the two suitors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get that he was also pursuing her. So just my input.
And there's the line that her first husband left her very well off. And then soon after, she's behind in her mortgage. So
Good
I'm
point.
not sure what's going on.
All right, good point. Anybody else?
I had a question. Well, I think I was a little confused at Alan and Jane's first entrance, because we've heard about who they are in the story beforehand, but when we enter, we're in disguise. But we have a whole song and stuff. We don't know our names we're not introduced who we are until way, way down in the script. With Bo Peep, she says Alan and Jane, and that's the first time you know who we are. And I didn't know if that was by design, if you wanted this gypsy character and his, sister to be a mysterious figure and have it be revealed who we are later, or if you want to know who we are at the first entrance.
Good point. Good point. Okay.
I had a question about the song right at the end, which I hadn't been really looking over the songs much. That he won't be happy till he gets it, because on the page before it says Mary and Barnaby exit right, and then suddenly Barnaby's singing in the song.
That's my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be, no, not at all.
It's supposed to say enter, not exit.
There we go. Okay. Oh, that's, I think, why I said, isn't there a stage direction there? I was expecting a Barnaby enters or something like that. So now I understand. Thank you.
Just as a
David.
question. Who is going to be doing the show? I mean, is this going to be done professionally? Is it going to be done with amateur groups? What did you have in mind for it?
Well, let me think for a moment.
I'm just thinking, I got my producer hat on.
It can be done by amateur groups. It can.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason I'm asking is because if it's going to be bloody expensive to produce if it's going to be done professionally. That's all I'm pointing out.
I understand.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions song-wise.
Song-wise?
Song-wise. This is for the group. Did anyone else feel like Castles in Spain was in the wrong place?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you remember why you felt uncomfortable about it or thought about it being in the wrong place, being sung by the wrong people?
Yeah. Well, besides that, I think that I felt uncomfortable that this such a love song was being sung at the most climactic moment while a lot of other plot devices were happening. It felt really strange to sit back and have time for romance.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
It's all business with you, isn't it, Drew? I know.
All business.
Now, also, did you notice that the very next scene sounded like a lead-in to Castles in Spain? Did you notice that? That's what, does anybody know real quickly where that Castles in Spain is?
Near the end.
Page 50.
Yeah.
Page 50.
Page 50, thank you. Whoever is keeping that. Okay, so who sings Castles in Spain? It is Tom. It's Tom.
Oh,
All right. But
I
then
get what you
look,
mean.
look at the very next scene
Yeah.
where it's Mary and Alan. And so far, so good. Nobody recognizes now for the
Yeah.
last hospital. The passports, it's Mary and Alan who are running away. And Alan talks about to our old home first, then we'll go abroad to a
Yeah.
faraway country.
Totally.
That set of lines you should look at very carefully because that's a perfect lead in
Yeah.
to Castles in Spain.
I totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And there's also one thing that this might help what happens in the next scene. I thought it was a little difficult that Alan and Mary exit and that she enters right back. I mean, that could be done in a production where she left her hat or something, but it's because then she has that scene with Barnaby, but it felt a little, there's actually a few places where it just felt like people entered for no reason, just to have the scene. As opposed to people coming on for a reason and being intercepted with another character and creating the scene. You know, there's a few places where our characters will enter and just say, hi, I'm here now. This is part of the plot, as opposed to coming in for a reason and having the plot, you know, develop because of our actions.
Okay.
All righty, I have one more question for you all. The end of the show. Does the moon will help you out feel like an end to the show? Boy, there's a dead
Well, I'm
stop.
trying to remember what the.
Well,
I'm trying to remember what the song sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Sounds-
let's not worry about what the song sounds like. Look what it is. It's one person singing a song about the moon. And that is, and the chorus is, let me see if I can pull that chorus. There is something in the glimmer of the moon that always puts two loving hearts in tune. And the lad who fears to say that he loves you in the day, in the moonlight is inclined to tell you soon. That's the chorus of the song. And you do have the chorus singing that song, but this is Bo Peep's song. And yet Bo Peep, now just let me finish, Louis. Bo Peep she hasn't had anybody to attach to in the whole show.
Right.
And she hasn't lamented the fact that she hasn't had anybody to attach to. So if you were going to choose to end your show with Bo Peep singing this lament about the moon and whether a guy can be brave or not, with or without the moon, then you need to set her up as maybe going after somebody. Maybe she spends the whole show going after a man the same way she went after her sheep. That's a possibility. But over and above that, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to hear your thoughts about how you end a musical. Do you end it with a plaintive, beautiful, albeit beautiful song? Or do you end it with some sort of a chorus note?
Does anybody remember what's in the original script?
Uh,
I have the original script. I haven't looked at it in a couple of weeks, and
It might be this.
Doesn't the show end with Barney O'Flynn originally?
well, that's, I don't know
Like a
that
reprise?
to a certain extent that's the same question. And again, do you have to stay tied to the way the original
Mhm.
script ended? Um,
Of course, the obvious ending would be to reprise Toyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Is that your biggest hit, do you think, in this show?
I think
Well-
it's the best known song in the show, but I mean, that's the only, I'm not saying it's the best song in the show by any means, but it is the best, I think it's the best known song.
Yeah.
Now, here's with an added wrinkle, where do the best known songs come from? Any ideas, folks? Other than the audience walking out singing it. That's a major clue. But with the fact that Herbert would take 10 to 12 songs out of every single score and give them to Whitmark for sheet music, what makes the song memorable? The fact that it sold a lot of sheet music. It's more a question of if you end a show quietly, okay, and believe me, that's been done a lot lately. That's not. I think that's a bit of a modern twinge, modern take on an ending to a show, to have it end quietly. What did we just do, folks? We just did a show that ended very quietly. Oh, what is it? The one with, Only Girl. We just did Only Girl.
Only Girl, yeah.
And there again, ends with a famous song. But if you wanted to end it with Toyland, you'd have to bring the toy master back to life if he's the one who's going to sing it. And you'd have to construct a reason, which means that you'd have to rewrite.
Yes.
Because remember that this is not a play with music, it's not a musical comedy, and it's not an operetta. It's an extravaganza that is the original material. And an extravaganza is all about spectacle. Look at the way that think back, if those of you who know may remember that the whole thing begins with an 8 to 9 minute sinking of a ship with Alan and Mary on it in a storm. So the whole thing begins with spectacle. You've got a huge spectacle with arriving in Toyland and introducing all of those characters. You've got another huge spectacle with the March of the Toys and the
Spider Forest also was a big thing.
Also, Hail to Christmas. Hail to Christmas is enormous.
Yeah.
Hail to Christmas is enormous. And so if you're going to end it quietly, there has to be a strong reason. You have to make a statement by ending it quietly. And you're trying to make a statement with Mother Goose, but but you're almost stealing from Shakespeare to do it. What is that Shakespearean thing? Is it Puck?
It's now right now our Revel Solar ended. Right?
Yeah, I can't believe that I pulled that out of Shakespeare because I really don't know my Shakespeare very well. But
it was a very common practice all the way through the 19th century up to the beginning of the 20th century for a character to turn at the end of the show and actually thank the audience and basically ask for the applause for the show. We've been doing some stuff like that with Shaw Project lately.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the way it's written now is sort of that in that line. I don't know that it necessarily works for this, but that's, you know.
I think it would work if we have an extravaganza before it, and then we ask for them to applaud.
Yeah.
Whereas if it ends with a romantic song, it sort of has to end with our romantic poses. Do you know what I mean? You know, if it's a slow, beautiful, moonlit romantic, then we probably shouldn't break that spell. Because I think the idea of ending things quietly is like casting like a little spell for the audience to romantically walk home to.
Okay, there's a lot of good ideas, and quite honestly, we've come to the end, and we've already lost Ben. And unless somebody else has a pithy something to add to Lewis, one of the things that I do whenever I have a playwright listen to a reading is I don't let playwright defend himself or explain himself, because he's at the mercy of what you all do. Because you all make choices, and you all have thoughts about how to produce it and how it feels. So I thank you all very much. Lewis is going to be able to listen to this over and over again for a couple of months and decide, you know, what he thinks of it all. Hopefully you've had a good time, Lewis. And
I did.
Good. Because you had never heard this out loud, had you?
No,
No, never heard it out loud. And how long have you been working on this piece?
for years.
So it's really a wonderful experience to be able to hear the words come alive.
Well done.
Yes.
Yeah, well done.
Well done,
Merci.
folks.
Yes.
Well done.
Merci.
So thank you all very much for your time and your effort. I appreciate it no end. And feel free to disappear. Thank you all.
Thank
Good to see
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
So good seeing everybody again.
Great to see you all.
Are you permanently in Chicago now, Haley?
No, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh,
Oh,
It's real hot.
I bet.
Blasting that AC today. It was like 111 degrees.
oh my God.
It's disgusting outside.
No thanks for me.
This is not the forever home. This is just like a pit stop.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
miss you guys.
Yeah,
It's been so long.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad I was able to do this and see everybody.
Lovely
Yeah.
to see you.
Well, that's the that's the advantage of Zoom.
Mhm.
We do Shakespeare and show on things on Zoom, and we have people coming in from the West Coast, like Drew, from
That's
London,
awesome.
from Canada, from Chicago, as a matter of fact.
That's so much fun. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
it started with COVID because we couldn't do live readings. So.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Well, I've never done Shakespeare, but I'm going to send you a message because I'm curious.
Mhm. Well,
We're doing more
the next
Shaw these
Shakespeare I'm
days.
doing is live, so I'm afraid
Yeah.
can't help you with that one.
It's all good. That's awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I'm going to ask all of you to go away. And thank you very much. Thank you very
I'd
much.
appreciate your going even
Thank
more.
you. I know. No, I want to talk to Lewis for a minute.
Brilliant.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Okay, see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you.
Bravo.
Stay well.
Thank you.
Oh, and destroy this material. Don't
All right.
keep it, okay?
Yep.
Okay,
All right. Thanks a lot, folks.
Bye.
thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, Lewis, it's just you and me. So what do you think?
Absolutely superb.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you once we're done, I'm done recording it, I will send you, I'll try to send you tomorrow the link to the recording. The recording's in the cloud, okay?
In the
So,
cloud.
yeah, and that way you can listen to it as many times as you want to. If you have any troubles, let me know and I will try and pull it off of the cloud and then send it to you. But it's huge. Okay, and so I'm not even sure I know how to send it to you. That's why I put it in the cloud. Okay.
Okay.
It's a nebulous, huge space. I don't have anything in my cloud right now, so you know, you can sit and listen to the whole thing, and it's an hour, and I'm not sure what, an hour, it's almost 2 hours long. So I'm glad you were there and you could sit and listen to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And now it'll be interesting to see what the other group does with it.
Okay.
But don't change it between now and then, okay? Because it will behoove you to hear how a different group approaches the same material.
Okay.
Okay. Now there are some places where you have some verbs missing, and it certainly wouldn't hurt to go through your script and see where you might have some missing words, or you know, that one spot where you had the guy exiting and he was supposed to be entering.
Yes, it was a mistake on my end.
Yeah. So fix your mistake, but don't do major rewrites. Okay.
Okay.
That way you hear what a different group of people, and that so you get a different set of opinions, and they may be very different, they may be the same. And what you do is you listen to where they're the same and write that note down, because if two different groups tell you the same thing about a something, that's kind of important to know, because that means you're not communicating as well. In other words, somebody could say something on this Zoom meeting, and one person says it, and you sit there and say, oh, well, I disagree with that, which is why you need your premise, right?
Yes.
Remember, that's what that premise is all about. That's your backbone for what you've written. And
I still have it on my sticky note.
okay. And if somebody says something that goes against that premise, then you sit there and you say, okay, I hadn't thought of that. Do I agree with it? Or don't I? And if you can sit there and say, here's my premise, I like my premise, and what was said goes against my premise, you can discard what was said, because your premise is what you like. Your premise is what you're trying to say to your audience.
Okay.
Right? And so if you said what you wanted to say, and somebody says, I don't like that, you know, I wouldn't play it that way. I wouldn't write it that way. You can discard that. You don't have, but if you get into a situation where you're talking about one place in the script, and both groups tell you something and it's pretty much the same, then you need to take that seriously and really think about it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Read the script. You should feel very good.
And I do.
Good. I like to see that smile. Okay. Like to see that smile. So congratulations. And let me know, you know, is it in August? Is the workshop?
August 6th.
August 6th. Okay. So that's something to look forward to. You don't need to tell them that this happened. In fact, I think I wouldn't tell them that this happened. Not that you're hiding anything from them, but you expect them come with a fresh look. Okay. I will get you that link tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Have a good night's sleep tonight.
You too.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.